Hello, everyone. This is Kim Jacobs. Hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful night. I wanted to come on tonight and just tell you, first of all, that it's such a pleasure to be able to come to you live and to just introduce the Kim Jacobs Show. On the Kim Jacobs Show, we will have all types of phenomenal guests that you'll get exposed to. Women that have overcome domestic violence, people that have walked through some of the most treacherous situations and still came out as shining stars. They're coming out as pure gold. But how did that happen? We all have backstories. We all have a story that has to be told. But guess what? Sometimes we only get to see the outcome of a person's life, but we never get to always understand what they had to go through to get to where they are today. So I have some shows lined up for you here on the Kim Jacobs Show, and I'm going to just take you back and let you hear a few episodes that's already been aired and recorded, and I want to put those on this podcast so you guys don't miss out on anything. Listen, how can you subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show? You can go to YouTube and the Kim Jacobs Show. If you want to see physical videos, you can go right to the YouTube channel and you'll be able to click on the Kim Jacobs Show, subscribe, and turn on your notifications, and you'll be able to see those actual live videos. But if you'd like to just stick right here on the podcast, I'll bring some of that footage right to you. So you'll hear something that's already in session, and I really hope that it helps somebody that's dealing with domestic violence. This woman, Christine Kozachuk, who's my guest on today's show, is going to share some information with you that can help you and change your life forever. So stay tuned as I introduce her to you at this time. Okay, let me go ahead and put it in. It's already in progress, but I want to make sure that I give you the opportunity to hear her story.
But we never know the behind-the-scenes aspects of things. What did it really take for them to overcome? What did it take for them to be the great people that they are today? You need to know their backstory. So I'm going to be bringing that to you here on the Kim Jacobs Show. Today, my special guest is a woman that is an international award recipient. She's an international speaker. She has grown up dealing with childhood poverty. She's overcome so many obstacles in life. This is a woman who triumphs. She's dealt with domestic violence and has survived domestic violence. And she's here today with me to share her story. Please welcome Miss Christine Kozachuk.
Thank you, Kim, so much for having me today. I'm so excited to share my story with the world today.
Thank you. We're going to have a good time.
Yes.
We're going to have a good time. I thought it'd be so good for my launch show to have you on here as my guest, because I really want the world. Women are dealing with such difficult experiences in their home life, and I thought it would be great for you to be able to share with women how you overcame.
Oh my goodness. I'm so glad this topic, because this is so me. I've had such a story that I've wanted to share for so long, and it took me so long to actually share the story. You know, I kept this story hidden for probably a good 35 years.
Okay.
That long. You really had to be in my circle, my closest friends and my families, to actually know exactly where I come from and where I am today. So it's been quite a journey from the start of, me being pregnant at the age of 13 in a very small community in West Virginia of approximately about 700, people there, to I had my first child at 14 years old.
Oh my goodness. So what was it like having a child at 14 and in the community? How did your family, did they support you? Did they shun you?
My family, they supported me. My mother, my grandmother really supported me and, encouraged me and kind of, took me under their wing and kind of protected me at that moment. But the community itself, I really had a hard time with the community of the judgment of the community,
right?
Because it was such a small community.
Yeah, everybody knows
everyone, and it was a very Christian community.
Okay.
And I grew up there in the community of the Christianity, and it was, we went to church. My mother had us go to church every morning. We went to church every afternoon and every Wednesday. So this was a church that I grew up in.
So everyone in the community is looking to say, okay, Christine is out of wedlock, a child having a baby. And were they judging the young man too, or just you?
Just me.
I thought that could be the case. That's why I was wondering. I didn't want to steer you in that direction, but I said, sometimes, unfortunately, people get judged, and it's the female that gets judged, but sometimes the male is like, oh, well, you're off the hook. Yeah. But in fact, it's both individuals that's produced the situation.
Absolutely. So, and this was back in 1983, 84. I had a son in 84.
Well, first of all, congratulations, because every child there's no child on this earth that's a mistake.
Absolutely.
So I want everyone in the world to know that if you've had a child, whether it's out of wedlock or whether it's through marriage, there's no child that's a mistake. No matter what the circumstances or the situations are that brought the child about, those are those situations.
Yes.
But that child is a blessing to this world and deserves to be here. So I'm so glad that you allowed and took a stance that you would bring your child to this earth.
Yes, so. and he's my life. And he even asked me that question one time, was that a mistake? I said, you were not to be born at that time, but you're never a mistake in my life. So, he's amazing. And, I love
What's his name?
Darren.
Yes. Darren. And how old is Darren today?
Darren's 34.
34 years old.
Yes, 34 years old with 2 sons of his own.
Oh, wow. Yes. First of all, you look amazing. So every person, even though you're looking from the studio audience or out of the viewing audience, I know you would love to just rub her shoulder so that you can look this good when you get this age. Look how great you look.
Thank you.
And actually, I know it's a sidetrack, but you won a pageant or two, too, haven't you?
I went into pageants.
Okay.
Yes, I went into 2. In my early 40s, I won the last one. I won Mrs. Photogenic.
Yes.
So
you were super photogenic.
Yes. The first one I was Mrs. Charlotte, and the second one I was Mrs. University City.
Wow.
So, yes, it's something I would never thought that I'd done.
And all of this was Mrs. So that lets you know, too, that you're never too old to start pursuing a goal or a dream. Because you were Mrs. Photogenic, and you really are.
But it wasn't really a dream or anything. My husband and I were sitting at a restaurant, and I was still challenging myself. I was losing some weight. This was back in 2013. I said, I need something to really challenge me. He said, run for a pageant. I'm like, run for a pageant? He said, yes, run for a pageant. So that was his idea.
He just wanted to see you. He wanted to see you like slim, doogie, and like,
that was his idea.
Well, that's a great idea because it did inspire you and you went on to achieve great things through it. So that's excellent.
Yes.
Now, going back to your childhood, tell me a little bit more about what happened as you did have your son and how things continued to unfold in your life.
After I had my son in September of 1984, I married his father, which is in December, a few months after that. I had actually quit school.
So you and the father got married at what age?
I was 14.
14 when you got married to the father. Okay.
I was 14.
So you were really determined not to be a person that had a child out of wedlock. You wanted to make it right based on the community that you were in and knowing that ultimately you wanted to be with this gentleman.
Correct.
And he wanted to be with you.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, and when you're 14 years old, you have a child, you're getting married, you think, this is going to be a fairy tale. You found your knight in shining armor and everything like that, but that's not what happened. After we had married, which was December of 1984, he never touched me or anything like that, but 2 weeks later, after we were married, I remember the first time that he actually physically abused me. I mean, I don't, to this day, not know what exactly happened.
Okay.
But I remember falling up on the floor and him just beating me and just wondering why. So that there, for the abuse and the mental abuse, occurred from the age of 14 until I was 18 years old.
And he just literally, out of the blue, no rationale surrounding it, you just found yourself in a very vulnerable position being attacked by your husband.
Right. Wow. Yes. And they, between that time of 14 and 18, I actually had 2 more children with him.
Okay.
I had my daughter when I was 15 years old. And that story itself is amazing. And let's go back to, the community itself, judging me, being an unwed mother at that time. Is my daughter was not due until February the 4th. Mm-hmm. She came December the 25th at 4:11 in the morning. she's my beautiful Christmas baby.
Oh, congratulations.
So what I tell people, I said she was given to me on that day to show that community that God's watching.
That's right.
You know.
That is so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Yes.
So what's her name?
Sharon.
Sharon.
And she has 3, so I'm actually a grandmother of 5.
Get out of here.
Yes.
So that's why they call people like grandmas and stuff like that.
I tell people I'm a nana.
Nana. Okay, because I'm like everybody that looks like you, they refuse to consider themselves a grandma. You know, so nana. Okay.
So we have 5 total, and you know, absolutely. I tell people they need to figure out how to have grandkids before kids.
Yeah.
But in that meantime, you know, having my daughter in the abuse and things, then I have my son at 18 years old, which you know, his name's Eric, and he doesn't have any kids yet.
Okay.
Yet. He just turned 30.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
So your youngest child is now 30.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yes, he just turned 30 on December 22nd. So I had a lot of Christmas babies.
So now you have 2 sons and one daughter,
yes.
married to someone. You're 14 to 18 years old in marriage, which is already unheard of, and you're now experiencing physical abuse from your husband.
Right.
And now how did this all work where you were making a decision that I can't do this as a mom? I'm a mother of 3 children. I'm 18 years old, which is already in itself traumatic, that you're dealing with a lot at a very early age. Quite a bit of responsibility is being placed on you. Whenever you're a mother, we know there are so many demands, so many responsibilities, so many things that you have to be accountable for. And then at the end of the day, you have to come home and still deal with your spouse beating you.
Yes. Yes.
Tell us about this.
Yes.
How did this work?
I'm going to go back to being in West Virginia. You know, before I even had my son at 18, we had actually moved from West Virginia to Lincoln, North Carolina, to better our family because there, you know, it's so poverty stricken. You know, I remember growing up, at least the meat would be a luxury item for us. So that's how, you know, I grew up. Right. You know, as a child. But I love the mountains. I love the people. I love the quietness of it. And, but, you know, the community itself, you know, it didn't have a life for me. It wasn't for me.
Right.
So we moved here, got a job. My first job was actually McDonald's. I think that's everybody's job. First job.
Well, my first job was actually, it was Tom McCann Shoe Store in the mall, and then I went to be on to be an assistant manager at Kenny Shoe Store, so within the mall.
And then from there, I went to work for a manufacturing company with my ex-husband. Okay. And my ex-husband actually had to sign for me to work because I was only 16 years old.
How old was he?
Yeah, he was 4 years older than I was.
Okay.
Yes, 4 years older. 16 years old. So you know, we worked together. Mm-hmm. We were together 24 hours a day. Okay. 7 days a week. We both worked, you know, second shift jobs. Mm-hmm. We had 2 kids at that time. Right. But you know, the physical and mental abuse, you know, still occurred on a daily basis. I remember going to work and making excuses, and I know some of the women that are going through this can understand what I'm saying, is I would go to work with bruises on my face and make excuses. Oh, I failed playing with the kids. You know, that way, you know.
So that when let's stop there for a second, because people, I literally have heard some of these things people say, and I've witnessed it, I've read about it, and I'm like, this is interesting because people officially give a formal rationale to why they've experienced the abuse, but they don't call it abuse. Yes. Why is that?
I don't know.
I've always wanted to know, why is it that someone would say, I fell and hit my face on a corner or something, when they know that their spouse physically did that to them?
You know, it's the shame. It's the shame of, and you are beat down so much at that time, that emotionally and physically, because the emotional abuse can hurt as much as the physical abuse. When you're said you're unworthy, or you're sitting there and you're being beat, worse than, you know, I always say worse than a dog, but I can't even say that because nobody deserves to be beaten, you know. And, you know, there's times when, you know, you disconnect because you are so ashamed. You disconnect from your family. My family didn't even know this was going on because I disconnected from them, not wanting them to know what this was going on.
So it was literally, because it's important for people that have not experienced abuse, and please listen to me, those that are watching this. if you've not experienced abuse, it's so critically important not to be judgmental of the ones that have, because it's a reason surrounding why you're going to the extreme to keep it a secret.
Yes.
And that's because you're trying to make sure that no one looks down on you, or what. I'm trying to understand what is it that's happening in that person's mind that says, I have to go to the extreme to keep this a secret.
Mm-hmm. Because you love that person so much, or you think you love that person so much.
Okay.
And they have, and I can't even say he because it could be a she, they have literally just mentally abused you so much and made you feel unworthy that no one else would want you.
Mm.
That you believe that.
So you're almost in a trance type of thing. You're like there's a movie that they hit.
Yes.
You go deep or whatever.
That is a great way to put that.
Is that because that's kind of, as I'm hearing you talk about it, it reminds me of that illustration.
Because come to think about it, that's the kind of way I felt from the age of 14 to 18. I felt like I was a zombie.
So what happened to get you from there to here? Because something major happened.
So when I had my son at 18 years old, and a lot of people were probably asking, why did you have your third son if it was so bad? At that time still, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to save this marriage. Okay. It's going to work. He's still going to be my knight in shining armor. So we decided to have...
So you never lost hope.
No, I never lost hope.
You were thinking that no matter what, I'm going to, against all odds, stay with this man, make him be what I really know he's capable of being.
Right.
Even if it's at the expense of me being damaged in the process.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So after I had him, he wasn't even a year old, and by that time I knew it just wasn't going to work. I mean, he was still beating me, and I tell people, I don't know at the times when he would beat me. I don't know if it was something I said or I poured too much orange juice. And people look at me, what do you mean too much orange juice? It's like, seriously, I got beat for pouring too much orange juice because orange juice needed to last for a month.
Was he ever remorseful?
No. Well, he would come and say, I'm sorry. Every time, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. Okay. I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. I promise I love you.
Okay.
That was the same message
routine
each and every time. But for me, I felt alone because I felt like I didn't have the family or the friends to reach to because I had closed them off because of the shame.
So you had isolated everyone else. Okay, so that's advice. That's advice to those that are experiencing this. What advice would you give them if they
reach out?
Reach
out. Don't feel ashamed. Go to whoever you need to go. Family, friends. Find a mentor. Anyone that you feel that will listen to you, because everyone will listen to you, and they will give you help. They will support you in knowing that.
Now, how did you get out?
How I got out was there was one night my husband literally beat me till I was bloody from head to toe. He had all day long. He had ripped all my clothes up, and just imagine this: my 3 children there. Okay.
They were witnessing this?
They were witnessing this. I was laying on the couch. He was literally taking a fishing string and trying to choke me. He was literally
So his intention was to kill
me.
That was like the day that he had decided that he was going to kill you.
Yes. He was taking a bow and arrow, and he was literally taking a bow and arrow and shooting at me. And at that moment,
shooting the actual arrow and hitting you?
He didn't hit me. I think he was trying to scare me at that moment. He actually... I asked God, I said, God, please take me. Please do it. But you know what? For the grace of God, I looked over my 3 children, screaming and crying for him to stop. God gave me the strength to get up, carry my 3 children to the neighbor's house, call my babysitter to never look back again. To never look back again. To never look back again. So that is a story that I have held back, and you really had to be in my inner circle. And that last part, there's only probably 5 people in my whole life that knew about this before I came out with it. Because
the entire time it was a secret.
It was a secret. And see, my husband now, I married again when I was 24 to a wonderful man, Ronald. I was not the one to tell him that story. My oldest son was. So told him that story about how I was abused that night. I never told him that.
So you never told your new husband the traumatic way that you got out of the
what exactly happened to me.
And did he come after your previous husband? Did he come after you anymore? Or
well, he tried.
Okay.
I mean, he tried, and he, harassments and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he would call and harass. And at that time, I lived in a trailer park in there. I lived in a trailer park there, and him and his family would come around the trailer park, and you real slow just to see what's going on. And he would call my phone and just cuss in and everything. And finally, my aunt had called me, and she says, "Christine, come down here. Get a new life." I did. I moved to Florida with my aunt, and we moved into an apartment complex. And
thank you, Aunt, that helped to introduce her to Florida.
That's where I met my husband.
Okay.
In the same apartment complex.
So now, so you got out of that abusive situation.
Yes.
Your children survived. You survived, and you survived against a lot of odds, obviously.
Yes.
But you have this beautiful, bright smile today.
Yes.
And know what you went through for a good amount of your life.
Yeah.
Brings great joy to me to have you as my guest today.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, I'm the one that's not supposed to be emotional. I'm like, you're going to have me toe down here, Christy.
It took me a long time not to cry when I tell this story. It took me such a long time.
But now you have overcome.
Oh, yes.
You are a woman who triumphs.
Yes.
Tell me about how you've triumphed.
So after I had met my husband, I went back to school, and then a few months later, we actually moved back to Charlotte. We moved to Charlotte, and that's where he and our life started back in 91 was here. So we had grown with the city. And he and I, when we first came here, I worked 3 jobs while he worked. He stayed home and drawed unemployment and watched the kids and things like that. But we worked, our jobs, and then he eventually, had a job, and we struggled. I mean, and then we finally got married in 94, and then in 95, we decided to open up a truck repair company here in Charlotte.
Right. Okay.
Yes, here in Charlotte. And a lot of people say, well, why a truck repair service? I said, first, I need to feed the kids. We want to just, live from paycheck to paycheck.
Right. Now you have this beautiful being here, and they open a truck repair company. Yeah. So that lets you know that she can get her hands dirty.
Yes. And I tell people, I said, I still do it in my high heels, too.
Oh, that's a good thing. Those are beautiful high heels. Those are beautiful.
But we worked that job from 95 to 2002. We were both blessed to quit our jobs and go full time. And we have been working that truck repair company full time since 2000.
Excellent.
So I've come a long, long way. And I tell people, this is not the book. The outside is not the book that's inside. That you can overcome it, no matter what you've gone through. And that is my mission today, is to share with women and to show women that no matter what they've been through, no matter what they're going through, that they can overcome it. Because it took me until I was 45 years old, I'm 48 years old, to realize that I was not the only one in this life that had went through something or going through something. So I started a podcast called Women Who Triumph, that women actually tell stories of their triumphs, of what they went through, to show women of the world to reach out. We have mentors. You can overcome it. You don't have to stay in that situation.
Well, I am so proud that you started Women Who
Triumph. Yes, I love it.
And the women are so inspiring. Yes. So definitely tell everyone how they can learn more about Women Who Triumph, because that's important.
Yes.
That you know that, even no matter what you're going through,
yes,
that you can triumph and overcome.
Yeah, we are, I actually have a Facebook group, not Facebook group, a Facebook page. It's called Women Who Triumph. Okay. Go on there like that. And then also, it's also on Blog Talk Radio, Women Who Triumph 1. And you can go on there and actually listen to it and follow it. And these women in here, I encourage each and every woman to give their information out, because you may relate to someone on there and you may not relate to me.
Right.
I want that person to call that person and get the help that they need.
That's excellent. Mm-hmm. Now, you also talk about getting over the fear of failure. Mm-hmm. Why is that? How did that happen in your life? Well, because something had to click for that to officially happen.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back to you feeling like that zombie. Mm-hmm. Okay. So all this time, I've always felt, because my kids have always been my why in my life.
Right.
And the way I feel, if it wasn't for my children, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I may be wrong, but they
I believe that. They were your rock.
They were my rock.
Yes.
They were the reason that I got up every single morning and done what I done, and accomplished what I accomplished in my life. And they're just, I don't think with fear itself, a fear of failure, is you have to go after what you want. Even if it is whatever the why is that you have, that you need to, accomplish what you want. Because fear is just another four-letter word. Now, once you accomplish whatever you want to do and you do it, you realize, why did I fear that? So don't fear the failure. Because failure is actually a learning experience, and that's what I've always considered failure to be. And if you fail the first time, get up and do it again, because you will accomplish whatever it is you need to do in life. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm having a tickle in my throat,
That's
but that's okay.
I understand. I went through that back in December. For 2 weeks, I had a head cold.
But I was like, I'm not letting it stop this show today under any circumstances, because life goes on. You don't let it stop just because you have an obstacle.
Yes.
And I'm a big believer that no matter what you have going on, push past it, and it always works out the way it's supposed to.
Yes.
So,
God has a plan, and
always.
That's one thing I always say. God always has that plan, and if you listen to God and you listen to His plans, doors will open so easily. You won't have to force them open.
Always. I've never had to force any situation.
Yes.
Things always work out the way they're supposed to.
Yes.
And even, you can just pass it to me. Thank you. One of my assistants is passing me it. Yeah, everything works out the way it's supposed to. So my thing is, when it comes to fearing something, it's so important to say that I'm going to push past anyway. And at the end, the result is, look at what the outcome is.
Yes.
It's so much better than what you could have ever dreamed of or ever imagined, only because you took that additional step to push past. And that's why I like your Women Who Triumph podcast. And I'm inspired by it, because I'm inspired by your story. That's probably what got me choked up, not just any kind of cold symptoms, but her story, because it inspires women to know that no matter, literally being treated at the worst possible level, and still picking yourself up and saying, I'm not going to let my story end like this. This is not all to Christine Kozachuk. I'm going to pick myself up, and I'm going to recreate myself, reinvent myself, and become the great Christine that I'm meant to be.
Right.
And I'm just so grateful that you're on this show today, sharing your story.
Thank you.
The whole world needs to benefit from what you have to share. Is there anything else that you really want everyone that's listening to know?
If I can do it, anyone can do it. Because, like I said, I came from poverty, literally nothing. People will say that, some people were born with a silver spoon or a gold spoon in their mouth. I was born with a rusty spoon in my mouth.
Wow.
So if I can go from poverty to a teenage mother to the abuse with no education, and walking out of my husband with no education, no transportation, and knowing not where I was going to go and what I was going to do, and still stand here and be the successful woman I am today, anyone can do it.
Yes. So what advice would you give women to say that, what's the most important thing that you're proud of out of everything that you've talked about?
Oh my goodness.
You've talked about abuse. You've talked about a community that turned their back on you. You've talked about how you escaped death, because you actually escaped death.
Right.
You talked about still keeping your family unit together, even in spite of being abused and knowing that you were getting ready to be on the run. You kept your children together. So you are a woman to be commended. You remarried.
Yes.
You reinvented yourself.
Yes.
You went on to become a pageant girl, a truck repair owner,
an international speaker. Yeah.
Tell me about that right quick.
I want
everybody to know about Guyana.
Oh, my Guyana. Oh, my gosh. Back in November, I had the opportunity to go with 12 delegates all together that was invited to Guyana.
Right.
To speak to the people in Guyana. And in 5 days, we spoke to 13 different schools with girls. and things. Oh my gosh, it was just, for me, it was a life-changing experience because it's something that I always wanted to do, is to speak globally, and that, God put that right there in our hands. Think about it. 12, God had 12 apostles. Yes, and 12 of us went into that country, which needs so much help of education and life skills, and speaking of inspiration. And these women, these girls are just, and even boys, you look at their eyes, they're starving for education, they're starving for more inspiration, they're starving for wanting more. So that was just, and that was where I actually received my international award also.
Yes, I saw that.
The Dr. Estelle Collins Award, which was, basically sharing your voice and, coming and speaking to, to the nations and things like that. So I had more nations to, touch
to visit
this year. So my next one will be Africa. Speaking to women of Africa. So that will be my next one. But, for me, what I want to tell women today is, reach out. Don't be afraid. Right. Just do it. And the one thing that you were asking about, earlier, my kids is the thing that I'm proudest of all, because I literally brought my kids out of poverty with me. Because you got to think, I was a child with children. So here
with children,
I was a child taking care of children, and I was not going to have them be in any situation the way I was ever going to be raised, or the way I was, had been done. But I want to share, just don't, it just took me till I was 45 or 48. Don't be quiet. Share your voice, because we all have a voice.
Well, your voice definitely has mattered here today. So thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I want to stand up and hug you, but I don't know if it'll mess the shot up. But I am so grateful to have you on here.
Yes, and thank you for having me, and let me share my story.
And today I have for you a copy of my book, Extreme Balance Makeover. So make sure that you enjoy that for your reading pleasure. And also, you have a book. Can you tell everybody about that?
It's actually called The Letters of Love. And The Letters of Love, I wrote with several other authors. And it's about, this was based on my grandmother. My grandmother was I always say, was my mother's. She had always had her doors open. And going back to my childhood, that's where we mostly slept, was my grandmother, which was like a 3-bedroom trailer. And you'd wake up with 20 people in this trailer. You was lucky to have a space on the floor. But she passed away in 2012. And I wish that I had actually was able to give her, speak to her and tell her how much I loved her. I didn't feel like I told her enough. So this vision of mine was, I wanted to write her a letter of love, and I was like, we need to write a book, because women these days, with the technology that we have, it's either by computer, we forget that handwriting, we forget that, just in these texts, and we forget all of that. So that comes out February, we're having a book launch on February the 16th, and it's about women actually writing love letters to other women in their life, whether or not they're here or gone. So
let me ask you, would you be willing to come back on the show as a guest to talk about the love letters?
Absolutely.
Because that's a show in itself, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you can bring the book. We can talk about it, read some letters. I'll bring my own letter.
We're going to cry. You might as well bring some tissue.
Okay. I have tissue because I already knew with you I was going to cry. So definitely you'll come back and be a guest. Okay, you guys.
Yes.
Give some feedback on definitely whether you want to hear Christine talk about those love letters.
Yes.
And I'm sure with the pain, the tragedy, the things that she's experienced, she has so much more to share through those love letters. Yeah. So I can't wait to have you back.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here today again. And for all of you that are watching The Kim Jacobs Show, thank you for being today in my audience, as my viewing audience. It's been my pleasure to be able to serve you in this capacity. Listen, I have started a Mother Dreamer movement. If you have not joined the Mother Dreamer movement, I encourage you to go to motherdreamer.com and make sure that you join the movement today. Christine is a part of the Mother Dreamer movement.
Love it, yes.
And we have lots of other wonderful mothers that are a part of the movement. So join, and I promise you, you'll be connected with some mothers that understand your struggle, because they have dealt with a lot of personal issues themselves that have catapulted them to their destiny. So what they're talking about are things that are from personal experiences. And so make sure you check out motherdreamer.com. And if you are interested in my book, it's Extreme Balance Makeover. Miss Christine Kozachek, the beautiful pageant woman here, has it. You can definitely get that on Amazon as well. Thank you so much for tuning in today to the Kim Jacobs Show. Thank you, Christine Kozachuk, International Award recipient, international speaker, overcame so many different odds to be the great woman that she is today. And it's been my honor to have you.
Thank you so much.
So thank you. Have a great day, everyone, and tune in next time.
Well, there you have it. An episode that you got the opportunity to hear firsthand with my guest, Christine Kozachuk, and I knew you would not be disappointed. Listen, I'm going to be taking you on this journey with some of the guests that have been on my show, the Kim Jacobs Show, in my studio audience, where I do have an actual audience of people, and right there being aired on the YouTube channel, the Kim Jacobs Show. But for you that are listening to this podcast, I didn't want to deprive you of this opportunity. And I'm so grateful that you're getting the opportunity to hear from Christine Kozachuk. And I have so many more guests lined up for you. So make sure that you download the episodes, show your love to let me know that this even matters to you guys. Without you listening and supporting and liking and sharing and downloading, it won't even matter because I won't know that I have people that are following the whole show. So thank you for taking the time to show your love and to support the Kim Jacobs Show. It's my honor, my privilege to be able to serve you in this capacity, and I can't wait until we connect again real soon. Have a great night, everyone. And let me know if this whole live thing, I did this live tonight, let me know if this works better for you too, because I'm playing around with some different things to see what's going to work best for my listening audience. So give me your feedback. Email me, kim@thebalancedoctor.tv, kim@thebalancedoctor.tv, and doctor is spelled out. kim@thebalancedoctor.tv. I welcome your feedback, and I look forward to serving you again really soon in this capacity. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for tuning in to the Kim Jacobs Podcast Show.